YouTube, once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. It's always great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Auburn takes on number 17 Texas A&M this weekend in College Station, but we got a lot of other things that we want to talk about. As a matter of fact, this afternoon, probably will do a podcast on Bo Nix, Kellen Mond, quarterback for Texas A&M, and, of course, Mr. Joey Gatewood. But now we want to track down some of the recruits from the 2020 class. That's the next coming class that's going to be a very pivotal class for the future for Auburn, because the attempt for Auburn is to start a process where they are reloading instead of having to totally rebuild. And the way you do that, from what I've seen with these recruiting classes, is that the middle portion of your recruiting class, that's the roster building, that's the rebuilding aspect of your particular recruiting class. Because if you look at the 2020 recruiting class, you have the top recruit, who is Trenton Simpson, 0.9825%, almost a four-star recruit. See, we're looking at a situation where Auburn has an average rating of 91.07, which is a very, very strong, solid four-star recruit on average, okay? But, you know, you talk about a situation where Auburn is the number 7 national ranked recruiting class, but no five-star recruits. Now, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Trenton Simpson couldn't, excel to a five-star recruit, or Tank Bigsby can't excel into a five-star recruit, or even Wesley Steiner, who is an excellent athlete out of Houston County in Warner Robins, Georgia. It's not out of the realm of possibility that at least Trenton Simpson or Tank Bigsby, given the kind of seasons they have this year, would emerge as the two possible five-star recruits. Or, considering that Auburn actually needs a defensive end, Auburn really needs to get on this really fast. Not necessarily because they lost Charles Moore. I don't think Charles Moore was someone that they banked on anyway, because he was kind of iffy from the beginning. Academics were a little shaky. So, but either way, the urgency is starting to heighten for Auburn to get another, maybe even two defensive ends. And given the situation, let's be realistic about the situation with Joey Gatewood and Bo Nix. If Bo Nix emerges as the permanent starter, Joey Gatewood gets into a situation where he's just a super subordinate, you can't be surprised if Joey Gatewood does hit the transfer portal. So I think Auburn needs to do themselves some diligence and actually go out, especially I think they're going to get definitely aggressive. They're probably having some conversations already, but definitely going to get aggressive around November, especially as we get closer to signing day, to go ahead and target a solid quarterback that will actually help with some continuity in that area. Now, one guy that I've been particularly impressed with is Kobe Hudson. Kobe Hudson, if you look at the list of recruits for the 2020 class, Kobe Hudson is actually the 4th ranked recruit. He's out of Troup County, Georgia. Anybody who knows about that area, that's another area that's relatively close to Auburn. You got a lot of folks that live in Auburn that actually commute to Lagrange, especially that Kia plant. And, a lot of that Kia plant out in Lagrange, Georgia actually employs, I think that's actually in West Point, Georgia, actually employs a lot of people in that area. So, Troup County, Lagrange is relatively local for that Auburn area. So either way, he's definitely doing a excellent job his senior year. Now, he's committed to Auburn as a wide receiver. They've sold him on the fact that, hey, when you come here, you're going to play wide receiver. But in high school, Kobe Hudson is actually lighting it up as a quarterback. A super duper dual threat quarterback. Because if you look at this season so far for Kobe Hudson, he's already accounted for 24 points, averages 8 points per game. He's a true dual threat because he has passed for 640 yards and has rushed for 411 yards altogether. Now, there was one game in particular that I was just I mean, just really, really astounded by when I think about Kobe Hudson. They played against Ridgeland, and in this particular game, he accounted for a total of 566 total yards in one game. 326 passing and 240 yards rushing. This is a showcase of a genuinely good athlete, a genuinely good player who I think, especially if you're playing quarterback, you have that innate intelligence to where I think he will be an excellent receiver at 6'1", 6'2", 200 pounds. He has the size that, Gus Malzahn definitely wants. Probably has the ability to block. He runs the ball very well, obviously. And, could be a relatively instant impact kind of player. So I just want you guys to keep an eye on Kobe Hudson, the 4th rated recruit on this Auburn's recruiting class, currently a 4-star recruit out of Troup County in Lagrange, Georgia, could possibly be an impact player for the Auburn Tigers. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast, talking Auburn football, talking a little bit of Kobe Hudson, talking about recruiting for the Auburn Tigers. And among some other things, Auburn is right in the middle of the stretch of this 2019 season, the stretch that we had all been waiting for. When you look at what Auburn has ahead here in this 2019 schedule, you talk about this week taking on Texas A&M on the road, then coming back home to face Mississippi State, then Florida, and then on to the rest of the season as Auburn, really starts to solidify not only where they are as a team, but the opportunities that rest down the road. What I would like to see, though, is considering some of the success that Auburn had against Kent State. Now, some people say, oh, it's just Kent State. But no, Auburn needed to see what a good offense with this personnel looked like. 600 plus yards. I had 3 guys that actually had 100 yards apiece. Even though it's against a menial opponent, you still have to imagine it. It still has to become tangible to where it's possible. This is something that this team can do. Even Joey Gatewood threw in, ran for 100 yards. We got to see what those things look like. And moving forward, even with Bo Nix had a couple of errant throws that were caught, but he also had a nice explosive play out to Boobie Whitlow that was dropped. So, I think, from a confidence building standpoint for both Bo Nix and Joey Gatewood, you talk about Bo Nix with 75 completion percentage. Now, although he threw only half as many passes as he did before, he's 12 of 16 and 75%. But at the same time, what that gives you is that confidence. When you can see that number up there, 75% passing, having a solid game, no turnovers, those things start to really, really boost your confidence. And, you had to have a game like this going into the Texas A&M game to solidify some confidence. The same way with Joey Gatewood. What a game for him. 100 yards rushing. He did show, I think he had a little route across the middle that he threw. He's starting to gain some confidence as well, to where these two guys together can really have some impact on this particular offense. And I thoroughly believe that. The offensive line, we have to be honest. Auburn is not going to be able to just pound teams right up the middle. And there are many teams in the FBS who are not going to be able to do this in Power 5, because if you think about it, teams are really doing a great job of recruiting very, very athletic and very, very physical defensive linemen, to where you're not going to be able to just push them off the ball at the point of attack. What you're going to have to do is what I like to call the outside in approach. And Auburn did a really good job of this in the Kent State game. Line some guys up outside, start to attack the edge a little bit, kind of loosen those big guys up in there, diversify some of your blocking schemes and angles. And next thing you know, you're having some success up the middle. That's something that Auburn didn't really even try against Tulane, and definitely didn't try to get the run pass option going against Oregon. So either way, we're going to look to see, as we continue our coverage on Texas A&M, we're going to look to see if Auburn actually starts to attack the edge a little bit more, continue to push the ball downfield with those wheel routes and with some of those out routes. It would be great to have Anthony Schwartz back in the mix to kind of create some imbalance with the opposing secondary. So we're going to see. Got some more videos coming, guys. Just wanted to do a recap on some recruiting and also looking at what Auburn has ahead here in 2019. Always enjoy conversing with you guys on Auburn football. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's great to be an Auburn Tiger. War Eagle.